Kyle notices a strange bottle of men's cologne sitting on the bathroom counter, a scent he has never worn and a brand he has never seen in his home. He confronts his girlfriend Kendra, hoping for a simple explanation, but she immediately deflects the blame and accuses him of being insecure. The tension shifts from private discomfort to public spectacle when Kendra posts on social media, declaring, "Real men don't question their queens," framing herself as the victim and Kyle as the unreasonable partner. Her post spreads quickly, drawing attention and fueling speculation, turning a personal issue into an open battleground. What began as a quiet suspicion suddenly becomes the spark that ignites a public drama neither of them can hide from. Kyle doesn't wait long before responding to Kendra's dramatic post, and instead of defending himself in private, he chooses a single sharp comment that cuts through the noise with surgical precision. He writes, "Real queens don't need secret kings," and tags Derek's longtime girlfriend, Aria, directly beneath it. The effect is instantaneous. Notifications explode, followers flood in, and the comment becomes the new center of gravity in the unfolding chaos. People who had only skimmed Kendra's post earlier now rush back to read everything again, comb through the replies, and pick their sides. Kendra tries to delete some of the more hostile comments, but by then screenshots have already spread to multiple gossip pages. Aria sees the tag, freezes for a full minute, and then begins messaging Derek with frantic speed, demanding answers he can't provide quickly enough. Derek attempts to brush it off, claiming Kyle is being dramatic, but Aria isn't convinced, especially when she notices the exact same cologne bottle sitting on Derek's dresser in an old photo from his Instagram highlights. The comment section becomes a battlefield where strangers, friends, and quiet onlookers unleash theories, jokes, and heated arguments. Some accuse Kyle of overreacting, while others dig through Kendra's profile for clues, analyzing her captions like investigators piecing together a conspiracy. A few of their mutual friends join the thread, trying to calm things down, but their attempts only add fuel, because each neutral statement gets interpreted as siding with one of them. At the same time, group chats start buzzing across their social circles. People who haven't spoken to Kyle in months suddenly reach out with wide-eyed emojis, asking if the chaos is real. Some send voice notes saying they always knew something was off with Kendra, while others insist the situation must be a misunderstanding blown out of proportion. But the more people talk, the more inconsistencies appear in Kendra's story, and the more her online defenders begin to retreat. Meanwhile, Aria starts her own investigation. She scrolls through Derek's tagged photos, older stories, and archived posts, looking for anything that might link him to Kendra. Within minutes, she finds timestamps that overlap suspiciously with the days Derek claimed to be working late or helping a friend move. She takes screenshots, enlarges details, and compares backgrounds, becoming increasingly certain that something is very wrong. And with every discovery, her anger grows sharper. The comment thread hits hundreds of replies, then thousands, as more people jump in just to witness the spectacle. Jokes, memes, half-serious analyses, and unfiltered arguments pile up one after another. Some users even start making short edits and reaction videos, turning the drama into entertainment for the wider community. Kyle watches it all unfold with a mix of vindication and dread, because while his comment exposed the truth, it has also unleashed a storm no one can fully control. What began as a single perfume bottle and one defensive post has now escalated into a viral conflict drawing in friends, strangers, and an entire online audience eager to see how deep the betrayal goes. Aria doesn't waste a second after seeing Kyle's comment explode across social media. Her fury sharpens into determination as she dives headfirst into gathering proof, refusing to be gaslit by Derek's half-hearted excuses. She starts by revisiting every old Instagram story she has saved, looking for anything that might match the background of Kyle's apartment. Within minutes, She finds a clip Kendra posted weeks earlier where the edge of a gray countertop, identical to Kyle, slips into the frame. At first glance, it seems insignificant, but Arya zooms in and notices a chipped corner Kyle once complained about in a group call. The discovery sends a cold rush down her spine. Kendra arrives at Kyle's apartment unannounced, but she doesn't come alone. Her mother and older sister flank her like a defensive wall, each of them already wearing expressions of accusation, as if the verdict has been decided before Kyle even opens the door. The moment he steps aside to let them in, the air thickens with tension. Kendra launches into a rehearsed speech about how Kyle's online behavior has humiliated her, insisting that everything circulating is exaggerated, manipulated, or taken out of context. Her mother nods emphatically, saying Kyle should have handled things privately and acted like a real man. Her sister chimes in with a sharper tone, accusing him of damaging Kendra's reputation and mental health. Kendra vanishes from Kyle's apartment for a day, only to reappear online with a completely rewritten version of events. She posts tearful selfies and long captions, claiming she has been emotionally abused, controlled, and manipulated by Kyle for months. She paints herself as a victim who stayed out of love, insisting she hid her suffering to protect him. At first, a handful of supporters rush to comfort her, sending heart emojis and messages demanding Kyle be held accountable. But the sympathy doesn't last long. Arya, still burning from the betrayal, decides she's done watching Kendra twist the truth. She drops a screenshot into the comments section of the post. A flirtatious, unmistakably explicit message Kendra sent Derek weeks before the drama erupted. The tone of the message is playful, bold, and leaves no room for reinterpretation. Arya adds a simple caption: "Victims don't text like this." The shift is immediate. People who were supporting Kendra go quiet, then slowly retreat, deleting their earlier comments. As the scandal spreads, Paulo, the building security guard who has always liked Kyle, steps forward with footage he kept archived. He messages Kyle privately with several clips, showing Kendra leading different men into the apartment on nights Kyle worked late shifts. The timestamps align perfectly with the days Kyle had expressed concern about Kendra's strange behavior, concerns she had laughed off as jealousy. The footage is clear enough to show Kendra opening the door confidently, greeting each man as though she had done it many times before. Kyle feels sick watching it, but he knows he has to reveal the truth. He forwards the footage to Kendra's mother, who had defended her so fiercely the day before. This time, her mother doesn't reply with accusations, excuses, or protective anger. Instead, she sends a single message asking Kyle for the rest of the evidence and apologizing for the way she spoke to him. The silence from Kendra's family afterward is louder than any confrontation could have been. Meanwhile, Kendra continues posting, doubling down rather than backing off. She claims the explicit messages were edited. She insists the footage is old. She accuses Arya of waging a personal vendetta. But every lie she tries to float sinks instantly under the weight of proof, flooding the internet. Users begin stitching timelines, compiling discrepancies, and exposing contradictions in her version of events. Memes spread, reaction videos multiply, and soon the narrative shifts from outrage to public dismantling. Kyle stays mostly silent, refusing to feed the fire, but the constant misinformation finally pushes him to release a single, measured statement. He writes that he never wanted to go public, but Kendra's false accusations forced him to defend himself. He states that all evidence he shared privately is legitimate and verified, and he hopes the situation can end without further escalation. The statement lands like a final verdict. Kendra's support evaporates almost instantly. Her attempt to portray herself as the wounded party collapses under the sheer volume of receipts, testimonies, and her own digital footprints. By the end of the week, her campaign to smear Kyle has fully imploded, leaving her exposed, isolated and facing consequences she can no longer outrun. The fallout spreads far beyond the original circle when several people start sharing their own experiences with Derek. Women who once dated him, women he manipulated, and even people who were indirectly affected begin forming a group chat dedicated to comparing stories. What begins as a venting space slowly transforms into a coordinated investigation. They piece together patterns of manipulation, emotional games, and calculated cheating tactics Derek has repeated for years. As more victims join, a broader picture emerges. None of his actions were random. He had a system, a method, almost a ritual of using relationships as stepping stones in a twisted game of dominance. Derek's life unravels faster than he ever imagined. Losing his job is only the beginning, because without steady income, he can no longer afford his apartment. His landlord gives him a 10-day notice to vacate, citing multiple violations, and Derek is forced to pack his belongings into black trash bags rather than boxes. With nowhere to go, he returns to his mother's house, dragging behind him the humiliation of his downfall and the stares of neighbors who have seen the drama unfold online. His mother, exhausted by his behavior, lays down strict rules. No guests, no late nights, no excuses. For the first time in years, Derek is treated not like a charmer or a manipulator, but like a child who has to earn back basic trust. The story closes with Kyle finally reclaiming the peace he had been denied for so long. He no longer feels the weight of defending himself or untangling the lies that once wrapped tightly around his life. His days are quieter, steadier, shaped by work, new beginnings, and the calm presence of people who genuinely care for him. Meanwhile, the internet continues to recycle the drama between Kendra and Derek, turning their downfall into countless memes, reaction videos, and cautionary threads. What was once a painful, private disaster becomes a public reminder of how far manipulation can spiral when left unchecked. Kyle watches from a distance, no longer emotionally tied, no longer tempted to revisit the chaos he escaped. He understands now that peace isn't built by holding on to people who thrive on conflict, but by letting go completely. As he steps forward into his new life, the final lesson becomes clear. If someone needs to crown themselves a king or queen just to feel powerful, the smartest thing you can do is walk away before their kingdom collapses on top of you.